Hello everyone, my name is John, I'm the Geeky Fanboy, and today we're doing something slightly different. Because in my last video, I spoke about the Danganronpa video game series and why this game is also dear and special to me. And I was really in the mood to talk some more about these games, which is why today I'm going to rank all of the Danganronpa characters. So, just as a first thing, because that's important, spoilers. Obviously, I'm gonna go through each game separately. There are gonna be timestamps in the description in case you wanna see me rank a particular cast of characters, or if there is a game you haven't played yet, so you can skip it or whatever. But just so you know, spoilers, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to speak about most of these characters. Before we begin, maybe a little explanation as to my ranking system, because I didn't go with like S, A, D tier or whatever, because those letters don't express my feelings. Which is why we went with the best tier you can be is best boy / girl, which means those characters are very dear to me. I love them so much, not only as in that they are my absolute favorites within the Danganronpa series, but that some of them are some of my favorite fictional characters, period. So they are, to me, they're perfect. I just love them. Then below that we have, I have a lot of feelings for them, which basically means that I have a lot of feelings about them. So they're just shy of being best boy or girl, but I still love them a lot. There's just something that keeps them from being best boy or girl. Then below that we have I like them, which means I like them. They're good. I have positive feelings about them, but I don't love them. But you know, I like to look at them. Then we have no strong feelings either way, so that's pretty much neutral, because there have got to be a bunch of characters that I don't hate, but I also don't love, but I don't have any like hatred or anything for them, so they don't bother me, so we're going with no strong feelings. Below that we have I just don't like them that much, which means that I dislike them more than I like them, but I don't have anything like, I don't have like a big problem with them. It's just that they personally are not my kind of character. And then below that, the worst tier is shut your mouth, because that means every time that character, one of those characters is on screen and they talk, I'm like, shut your mouth, go away, disappear, I don't want to hear from you, you just bother me, I hate you, leave. And then below that we have too minor for me to care about you, because there are going to be some characters, mostly from probably the anime, that only have like a really minor appearance, too minor like for me to have a proper opinion on them, which is why there's going to be that tier as well. So I have my cup of tea right here. You should go and grab one as well, because I feel like this video is going to be quite long. And naturally, as always with these kinds of videos, this is my entirely subjective and personal opinion. There are going to be characters that I love that you might hate, and I get that. There are definitely going to be characters that I dislike that a lot of people in the Danganronpa fandom love. There are gonna be some hot takes, I know that, but just, you know, it's a personal opinion, it's entirely subjective, and I totally get it if you like these characters or if you don't like these characters. So let's all be nice. That's it for now. Let's just get on with ranking these characters. Okay, first off we have Monokuma. Naturally, we'll start off with the bear, and I mean Monokuma's just gotta be our first best boy, best bear, best robot. I guess I just love Monokuma. I think he's the perfect sort of menacing mascot character for this series. I have a big plushie of him somewhere. Hang on, give me a second. He's right here. There we go. He's gonna, how about he's gonna sit here while I do this. I love him a lot. He's a lot of fun. I love his voice. It's especially fun to voice him if you like play this with a friend and you read the characters out loud. I have a lot of fun voice acting Monokuma, so and I just love how weird and menacing he is at the same time, because he looks adorable and absolutely horrifying at the same time, and that's perfect because that's exactly what Danganronpa is. It's lovable and horrifying at the same time, and Monokuma is just perfect for that. And I think he serves as a perfect sort of like host character, if you want to call that, for each game. So he's a lot of fun. Like every time he has something to say, I'm either laughing or I'm absolutely terrified. And yeah, I just think he's a good character. Okay, next up is Makoto. Oh, sweet Makoto Naegi. So Makoto is the protagonist of the first game, and Makoto is a very basic character. You just have to say he's a classic video game anime kind of protagonist character who has ultimate luck. Wow. But you know, I don't dislike Makoto. He's not my favorite protagonist of the games, but I like him a lot, and he has some really good relationship with some of the other characters, like Kyoko and Byakuya and some of the others as well. I like him, and I like his positive attitude and how hopeful he is, especially towards the end of the first game, and how he goes on to like become a member of Future Foundation. Also, him and Kyoko, OTP, fact. So I like Makoto, but I mean he's not a best boy. But I'm not sure if I have like a lot of feelings for him. I like him, but I'm not crazy about him. So let's put him in the I like him category for now. Okay, next up is Leon. Leon is, just has to go into, I just don't like him that much, I think. Because I think I dislike him more than I like him. Like, he's cool, he's fun, but, you know, he sort of has this problem of being, like, the first murderer, so he dies pretty early. And you don't really have that much time of getting to know him, and I just don't think he's that interesting of a character. You know, he's like a baseball star, but sort of reluctantly, and he wants to, like, make music. It's fine. It's not that interesting. And what makes him dislikable for me is the fact that a lot of people, and I kind of get the argument, but you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, but he killed in self-defense, etc. I'm like, I mean, it was kind of self-defense up to a certain point, because when Leon decided to like go back into his room and get like the tools so he could open the bathroom door and go and murder Sayaka, that was on purpose. Like, you can't deny that was on purpose. He could have just left. He could have just go and woken up some of the other characters and tell them, hey, that girl's trying to murder me, but he didn't do that. But I think he serves as a good enough first like killer. But just like personally speaking, I just don't like him that much. And this directly brings us to Sayaka. Now, I've recently played through the first chapter of the first game a couple of weeks ago. For some reason I played through it again, and I remember the first time playing the first game, I really didn't like Sayaka. At first, I'm not a huge fan of like this very general trope of, oh, she's your best friend from like childhood days, and you immediately have some kind of like chemistry going on, and she's meant to be like super duper likable and cute and adorable, and I just don't buy it. And then it turns out that she stabs you in the back and she tries to frame you for murder, and which is what made me really, really hate her of the first time playing that game. But you know, I kind of gotten around to her a bit more, especially since I don't think Sayaka knew that there was going to be a class trial or anything like that, or that Makoto and all the others could end up getting killed. And I think she has a pretty realistic reaction to the situation she's getting herself into with Monokuma when he tells them they have to murder in order to get out of here, and the motive and everything with her group, with the music group. So I've gotten around to her a bit more, but I don't like her very much. But also don't hate her, so I think she's going to be our first neutral character. So next up is Oh, Hero. Sweet, sweet Hero. It's Yasuhiro Hakakure. I have a lot of feelings for Yasuhiro. He, I mean, I just said it, so which basically puts him right in this category. I love Yasuhiro. Yasuhiro is great, and I think a lot of people give him shit for no reason. I mean, it's probably the reason probably is because he's kind of the dumb character, and yes, you sometimes he can be annoying, and yeah, the fact that you have to make the argument that no, Kyoko is not a ghost hero, she's here, is dumb, but he's like a sweet, lovable idiot. He's a sweet, lovable doofus, and I like that. He's got some good energy going. And I just think that he's just naturally very likable. I get that it can be annoying that he's stupid, but in a way, I like that he's not too stupid. He's never too stupid, which is the case with other characters that are gonna come up later. I like him, and I think he has some good chemistry with Makoto. Their free time events are kind of fun. I don't know, I just like having him around, and the fact that a lot of people in the fandom shit on him makes me sad, which is why I have a lot of feelings for this boy. So we're gonna put him in this category. So next up is Hifumi. I know a lot of people absolutely hate Hifumi, but you know, having recently played through the beginning of the first game again, I don't think I hate him that much. I don't like him, but I think I'm gonna put him in the I just don't like them that much category, because I don't want him to shut his mouth every time he talks, because he can be kind of fun, and he's supposed to be like this fanboyish kind of character of like he's kind of like the nerds you see sometimes on online platforms who try to argue all the minor details, that sort of stuff. And in a way, I get this, how this is also sort of commentary and parody. But then again, he also has some creepy comments now and then. I don't really like him in, is it the 4th chapter? No, the 3rd chapter. With alter ego and how he gets involved in Celestia's murder plan. So he's not great, but I don't think I hate him as much as many of the other people in the fandom do. Next up is Sakura. Oh, dear sweet Sakura. I think Sakura's definitely gonna go into the I have a lot of feelings for her category. I just like her whole shtick in general, that she's like a buff girl character. Some of the jokes get a bit annoying with some people being like, oh, I thought you were a boy. That sort of thing can be a bit annoying. But I like that she's sort of above that to a certain degree. And she's just kind of cool and level-headed, but has strong opinions and strong feelings, which we can see in, that's I think the 4th chapter of the game, when it turns out that she actually killed herself. And that was, I think, like the first chapter in the Danganronpa game that got me really, really like super emotional. Especially like when you think about her friendship with Aoi, and how Sakura tried to save the people in her dojo and her family, but she also didn't want to betray the friends and her classmates anymore, and instead decided to kill herself because she didn't want to work with Monokuma anymore. And also the fact that she works with Monokuma was totally surprising. I did not expect her to be the one to work together with Monokuma. But then how she decided to fight against him, not only physically but also like mentally and emotionally, by taking her own life. It's a fantastic chapter, I think, in the first game. It gives you lots of emotions, lots of feelings, which is why Sakura is, I think, one of the greater characters. Which brings us to Aoi Asahina. Aoi she's cute. I don't dislike her, I don't love her. She's very sort of one note. I think the one thing that's really interesting about her is her friendship with Sakura. And it's a very sweet friendship. It's very, very cute. And I like her energy, how she's mostly trying to stay positive all of the time, how she's also a bit more one of the level-headed characters. She's the one who tries to get your head in the game. Then again, she also tries to like kill everyone in the chapter where Sakura committed suicide. That's the thing that happened. But I think for the most part, she is an entertaining character. She's sweet, she's fun to hang around with. She doesn't really have like a major impact on the story, apart from like the whole Sakura thing. I think she's cute, she's also good, and in like when she joins Future Foundation, but then again we don't see too much of her doing the anime, what she actually does. So I think I'm gonna put Aoi in the I like her. I like Aoi. Kyoko. Kyoko's up next, and no question here. Kyoko is our first best girl. That's just no discussion there. In general, I'm a fan of the whole cold but cool, mysterious character shtick. I like that. I know it's a stereotype, but I like it. And just, I mean, look at her design. She's like, it's cool. She's just really cool to look at, I think. I like how she starts off as like very abrasive and cold, and you kind of wondering, okay, she seems cool, but what's her deal? Why is she not really working with us? But then she starts working with you, and you realize, oh, that girl's got some skills, and she has some really good chemistry with Makoto. Again, Makoto and Kyoko, OTP best couple. And I just like that, and how the mystery that surrounds the school and the killing game also has to do with her. That her father turns out to be the headmaster of the school, because they didn't see that coming. And I like how she gets much more emotionally involved than you expected in the beginning of the game. And she's perfect as an investigation partner, as the ultimate detective. And naturally, you don't really know about her ultimate talent in the beginning, which is always the character whose talent you don't know is always one of the more interesting characters. And she just encapsulates this feeling of like mystery and having secrets in a slightly sinister way, but also in an engaging way. So you're not entirely sure how much you can trust her, but you feel like you can trust her, even though you don't know why. And I just really, really like her. She's a very good character. In the anime, I'm not quite sure if I think she should have stayed dead in the anime. I rewatched some of the episodes before making this video, and I'm glad that she's alive by the end of it, especially also for Makoto. But I also get why some people will argue that she should have stayed dead. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Okay, let's move on. We got Taka. Oh, Taka is gonna be difficult because I know that a lot of people like Taka a lot. Like the friend I played the first game with for the first time was really, really into Taka. She really liked him. And I get it, but he's just not my cup of tea. I think he's fun and I like his energy, and he even has some comedic moments due to his nature. And I really, really love his relationship with Mondo, who's gonna come up next. But I gotta be honest here, I didn't spend really much time with like him as a character, like in the free time events or anything, so I don't know much about him. I don't hate him, but I don't really have any like super strong feelings about him either. So I think he's gonna go into the no strong feelings either way category. I get why people like him, but he's just not my cup of tea. Which means next up is Mondo. I love Mondo. Mondo's got a lot of things going on, and I'm gonna be honest, I have a lot of feelings for Mondo. Just like, he starts off as this very abrasive, serious, aggressive character who can be a bit annoying because you think he's only got that one shtick going on, and he punches you in the face and you're like, what the hell, man? What's your problem? But especially like in chapter 2, this whole thing he's got going on in chapter 2, it's just insane, and I just find his motive and the emotional journey he goes through in the second chapter so fascinating, why he ends up being the killer. For some reason I really connected with that. I thought it was really, really interesting. Especially since he comes off as this really, really strong character, not only strong of body but also strong of mind. But then you find out that he has some deep, deep insecurity and anxiety issues that he just never managed to figure out in regards to his brother. And just like this, also like this whole relationship triangle basically between Mondo, Taka and Chihiro is very, very interesting, and I think the sort of short friendship we get between Chihiro and Mondo is very, very interesting. Like, you can just imagine what it was like when they were all still classmates and alive, what that kind of relationship was like, sort of like a big brother to Chihiro. Just sounds sweet. And also just like Mondo's relationship with Taka, it's great. You bet I ship that. So yeah, I really like Mondo. For some reason, like his story really connected with me, even though we didn't get to spend that much time with him either. But I don't know, I just like that there was more to him than meets the eye, basically, so I like that. Oh, and next up we got Junko Enoshima, our girl Junko. And I mean, Junko's got to be best girl, like, because I think Junko is the perfect villainous character for the Danganronpa series. She's got just so much energy going on, and I'm into that. Like, you just don't see it coming, especially in the first game. And then I know some people didn't like it, but I love that shtick with her, like, sort of changing personalities when she presents herself, because she's just so bored of being who she is. She just switches through all these personalities rapidly, and she's just so crazy and unpredictable, but she's also, like, such a mad genius. And I don't know, I just think she is a very, very good villain. Does the series over-rely on her? Yeah, maybe a bit. She maybe didn't need to be there by the end of the second game as this huge AI Junko. And she had a lot of stuff going on in the anime, but it just showed how absolutely horrifying she can be, and how, like, cold and calculating, brutal. And I'm a huge fan of this, like, contrast that she seems to be, like, a very, like, pretty, sweet, energetic kind of girl, and she is that, but she also happens to be a homicidal maniac, an evil genius, and I like that. I'm into that. It's anime nonsense, and I love it. So, Junko, best girl, she's great, I like her. Which brings us directly to Junko's sister, Mukuro Ikusawa, 16th student. Which is a huge joke at this point. I think Mukuro had a lot of potential being an interesting character, especially if you like go into the anime and see that she's actually there. Could be like a proper character, but then turns out she's just like a Junko fangirl, and it's super weird. And it wasn't just like a fangirly thing, it became kind of like incestuous, which was really weird, and there wasn't much more to Mukuro's character, which was sad, because I think she had a lot of potential, especially as like the what's the talent? Ultimate Soldier. But I think she's just like a missed opportunity. I don't hate her, but I also don't like her, so I guess this one. Next up, Byakuya Tagami, and that's no question, best boy. He's my absolute favorite character from the first game, which is weird, because at first I thought Byakuya, wow, kind of a dick. And he is, especially in like the first half of the game. But I don't know, I kind of like this. He very much reminded me of like, kind of like BBC Sherlock, but even more of an asshole. But I kind of like that. Sure, he's entitled prick, basically. And he insults a lot of people. He's very unfair towards most of the characters, not even all of the characters, especially towards Toko. And he's got a lot of problems. He's got a lot of issues, but he's also a very smart character. I would argue he's, alongside Kyoko, the smartest character in the first game. And I like that. I joke that he's basically Batman, because, I don't know, he kind of had that vibe, because he's like a rich dude with detective skills. Also, he has a butler who I think is called either Alfred or Pennyworth. There was some kind of reference to the Batman butler, definitely. And Also because like Byakuya goes through a visible and noticeable character change throughout the first game, where he starts off as being like an entitled douche who's just in it to win it, basically, is not into team play, nothing like that, but slowly figures out that, oh, maybe this is bigger than I thought, and maybe Makoto isn't as big of an idiot as I thought. Maybe I hadn't had this whole thing figured out, and when he comes around and eventually says, I'm gonna defeat the mastermind, stop this killing game, which is why we sort of have this switch in like his character development, absolutely fantastic. And I'm so glad, excuse me, he's one of the characters who makes it until the very end and then also goes on to become an important member in Future Foundation. I was kind of sad that he wasn't more in Ultimate Despair Girls, but he's more of a plot point where you have to save him. That's sort of Toko's character arc for that game. But I like him. I like him a lot. He was sort of the first character in Danganronpa I was really, really in love with, and I liked a whole lot. So he's definitely best boy. Next up we have Celestia Ludenberg. First up, I absolutely adore Celestia's character design. She probably has one of my, if not even the favourite or best character design in the first game, like the characters in the first game. Also in general, I just love this whole gothic Lolita style. It's just mwah, perfect. I love it. That's my whole aesthetic. And I like her. I like her cool, calculating attitude. In case you couldn't tell, I love cold, removed, smart characters, in case you couldn't tell. So I like her, but I felt with her character it was more of a... I'm not quite sure if I want to say it was more of a shtick than with like Kyoko or Byakuya. I just feel like there isn't that much depth to Celestia as with like Kyoko, for example, even though Celestia has a lot of cool things going for herself. And I like her, even though she's involved in one of the stupidest murder plots in the entire series, because it was super easy to figure out that she was the killer, and it was kind of dumb, especially considering that she's the ultimate gambler. So, in that regard, I don't love her, but I also don't dislike her, so I'm gonna put her into the I like her category. Next up we have Chihiro Fujisaki. Chihiro, he's precious, isn't he? He's precious. I like him. He's cute. He's got a whole thing going on in the second chapter where you find out that he wants to become stronger, that he's actually a guy with deep insecurity issues, and I thought that was super endearing and super interesting and also kind of relatable. I love his whole relationship with Mondo, which again I think would have made for a fantastic or interesting relationship, friendship, if they had been allowed to like just live out their lives at this academy. But I thought it was very interesting, and what Chihiro does even after he's dead with like alter ego and how useful alter ego becomes down the road is fantastic. And again, Chihiro sort of starts out as like, oh, you think it's like the shy girl stereotype who's like cute and that's why the guys like her, but she's like in a field that's maybe a bit unusual for girls. But then you find out that there's much more to Chihiro than meets the eye, that he's actually a guy, and that he wants to work on himself, wants to improve himself, but then that's all cut short because of Mondo. So I like Chihiro. Chihiro's got a lot of stuff going on that I like. I don't think I like him as much as like Sakura or Mondo. I'm not sure. You know what? We're gonna put him in the I have a lot of feelings for them category for now. Maybe we change it later. I'm not sure yet. Okay, and next up, basically two characters because they are one and the same. We've got Toko and Genocide Jack. Now, when I talk about Toko and Genocide Jack, I'm not only including her character arc throughout the first game, but I'm also talking about what Toko's got going on in Ultra Despair Girls, because if we only talked about Toko in regards to what she does in the first game. I don't think I would like her as much. But if we include what she does in Also the Spare Girls and what she goes through there in regards to like her character development and her friendship with what's her name? With Makoto's sister, I can't remember her name right now. I liked her a lot more. I think I gave her a lot of character improvement because in the first game she's just an anxiety-riddled mess who insults a lot of people in a horrible way, and she's got this creepy crush with Byakuya, which is very unhealthy. I didn't hate her, but I also thought that she was kind of annoying at times, but did have some cool moments, especially like in regards to her being Genocide Jack. I thought Genocide Jack was so cool. Genocide Jack is super entertaining, but is also sort of just like that one note kind of character who's like a crazy killer, and that's kind of it. Which is why I think before Also the Spare Girls, I would have put Toko simply in the No Strong Feelings categories, but for now, after having played Also the Spare Girls, I'm going to put Toko and Genocide Jack into the I like 'em category. Quite entertaining. I think they could have been done more with the character. I do like her a lot, but I don't think I have like a lot of feelings for Toko. I like her, she's entertaining enough, but I don't feel as strongly about her as some of the other characters. Moving on, we're going into the second game, and we start off not with Monokuma, but I mean he's also in this, but with our second Monokuma-esque character, Monami. And I'm sorry, Monami, but you have to be the first in the shut your mouth category. I don't think I hate her as much as some other people in the fandom do, but I still don't like her. She just annoys me, that super girly, fairy, glittery, positive thing she's got going on. She's also got an annoying voice, and she isn't really that useful. I know she tries to help the characters, and she kind of does occasionally, but I don't know, I just can't with her whole deal. It's just, no, I'm sorry, she's so annoying, and every time she like pops up and says something, I'm like, get out of here, Monami, I don't like you, shut up. So yeah, sorry, Monami, you've got to be the first in the shut your mouth category. But that brings us to a completely different character, namely Hajime. And Hajime, best boy. Hajime is my favorite Danganronpa protagonist. I don't know, I just felt like he was more realistic in regards to like his reactions with what was going on, him being pushed into a killing game, how he reacted to things, how he formed relationships and friendships with the other characters, how he's a lot less naive, I think, than Makoto is, because Makoto is very much your naive, happy-go-lucky kind of character who's willing to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But Hajime, I think, isn't necessarily like that, and he had a lot of similar reactions that I had while playing the game. Like, for example, when we find out what's going on with Nagito, kind of thing, he was like, what the fuck? And I don't know, I just connected with Hajime the most as a protagonist, with like his journey, with the friendships he had, also with this whole Izuru Kamakura thing that comes up later. I think he even has some good moments in the anime, like his friendship with Chiaki, but how he feels very inferior and then agrees to the Izuru Kamakura project. I think that's what makes Hajime very, very interesting and one of the best protagonists in the Danganronpa series. And actually, I see him here right now. Let's just talk about Izuru Kamakura. I think Izuru Kamakura is very interesting. He doesn't have, like, we don't spend a lot of time with him. I think we spent more time with him in the anime probably than in the game. He's very much just this stoic, neutral kind of character. He's an observer who's ultimate hope, but also kind of very ultimate despair-ish. So, I don't know. He's a complicated guy. The thing is, I don't think Izuru Kamakura has so much going on except for like this one. He's very one-note, I think, again, but I think he's very interesting, especially if you consider what he as a person, as a character, means for Hajime. And it's really sad because I literally watched that yesterday when Chiaki dies and sees Hajime, or Izuru, one more time, and he sort of kind of remembers who she is and cries but doesn't really understand why. Oh, heartbreaking. So I like Izuru. He's interesting, but he doesn't have a whole lot of going on to get your teeth into, so he's gonna go into the I like him category. So next up is Akane. I like Akane. Akane, I have strong feelings for you. But I know that basically qualifies for her putting her into this category, but I think I'm gonna put her into the I like Akane. I like Akane, she's good, she's funny, but again, I'm not as emotionally involved in her as a person as I am with some of the other characters who are above her. So I'm gonna put it into this category. I like her relationship with Nekomaru. I think that's cute. I think her shtick of liking food and eating a lot of food is funny, even though it's like a retired trope. And I'm into her as a character, and she has some fun things going on and has like a fun dynamic with most of the other characters. But there isn't much more to her than that, I think, and she doesn't have like a character arc or anything like that. And I know we usually have one of these kinds of characters who are like sports types or a bit of on the like slightly more naive or not as intelligent side on the character spectrum. That kind of character who survives. And I like her and I'm glad that she survived, but again, I don't have as strong I don't really strong feelings about her as with some of the other characters. So I like Akane, she's okay. Oh, we got our first hot take, ladies and gentlemen. We got our first hot take. It's Nagito, and I fucking hate Nagito Komoeda. He can just, oh my god, I want him to shut up. I'm currently playing through the second game with a friend, and both of us are just like, every time Nagito is on screen, I'm like, oh, shut up, Nagito, go away. Oh my god, he's so annoying. I guess I kind of understand why so many people like him, but then again, I don't understand why so many people like him so much. I get it. He has a cool character moment in the first trial where it turns out, oh, he crazy. And that's it. I was kind of on board with him being crazy. I thought, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. We've got some good stuff going on here. But then it just turns out he's annoying. He's an annoying troll. He is all about just like this whole hope, all the hope bonus he has throughout the game. It's just so fucking annoying. And I just can't with him. I just want him to shut up. I feel like he never has anything useful to bring to the table. And if he does, I know that he does have useful stuff to bring to the table. He always does it in a way I find very annoying. Or he's very vague about it. Like, I just hate these kinds of characters who, throughout like the trials or the investigations, are like, I could theoretically tell you what the solution is, or I could help you, but I won't, because I decided to be a dick about it. Or he like turns around and is like, I actually already knew that. And they're like, why the fuck did you tell me that? Why the fuck didn't you say anything? And we're going to come back to a character in the third game who is basically everything I hated about Nagito, but worse. Probably you can already take a guess who I mean. But I'm sorry, I just can't with Nagito. Yes, I get it, he has a cool character moment, he's crazy, he's very intelligent, I get it, he's very intelligent, I agree with that. And I think his whole thing he's got going on in the funhouse is interesting. But just, I want him to shut up every time he's on screen. I just can't with him. He's just too annoying. He's just too annoying, and I don't want anything to do with him throughout the game. I'm sorry. Fuyuhiko. Fuyuhiko is up next. And Fuyuhiko is good. Fuyuhiko is very good. I'm not sure if I want to put him in the I like him category, or I have a... You know what? I'm going to put him in here, because I am playing through the second game at the moment, and he's growing on me a lot more than he did when I played the second game for the first time. Because Fuyuhiko has one of the best character developments, I think. Like, out of all of these characters, especially for the characters in the second game. Because he starts, again, he's the kind of character who starts out as being a dick, he's an arsehole, he doesn't want to hang out with anyone else in the group, and he's like, I can win this game on my own, no one talk to me. But then we have this whole second chapter thing with Peko, and from then on, he has very believable character change, and he tries to grow and tries to better himself. And I just think that's fantastic. And I'm so glad that he survives until the end of the game, because that makes a lot of sense. It would have been so sad if he had died before like his whole character development arc was done. And I was just so into the whole background story he had with Peko that we find out about in the second game, and with his sister, and also just his ultimate talent of being the ultimate Yakuza. Just sounds fucking badass. Also, I like his character design. I think it's cool. He has this sort of baby face, but has like cool sleek appearance with the suit. I like it. So yes, I have a lot of feelings for Fuyuhiko. I like him. He's got some good character moments. He's got a good arc, and I think he's one of the definitely one of the best written characters in these games. Next up, we've got Chiaki. Chiaki's got to be one of the best girls. Chiaki's got to be best girl. I know that some people argue that she is a Mary Sue type of character, and I can kind of see that and kind of agree with that. You know, she's like created to be a very likable character. You know, she's a gamer girl, so she can make references to games. Since we're playing a video game, she's very likable, she's cute, she's smart. But those are all the reasons why I like her. Like, I'm just a fan of like the shy, quiet girl who turns out to be very, very intelligent, very into what's going on, and I think she's a perfect partner for like Hajime throughout the investigations that are going on. And she's very supportive, and she occasionally has those really kinds of cool like badass character moments where she tells people to shut up, and you're like, yeah, Chiaki, you tell him. And I like how smart she is, because I don't think you expect when you start playing the game that she is going to be as smart and helpful as she is, but she turns out without her, Hajime wouldn't get that far, I think. And I know the game tries really hard to make you like her, but it worked. For me, it just worked, and I was very emotional about her dying, especially that she's helping, or she's the mastermind kind of, and she's actually just an AI, and it just messed me up so much. I also really like her in the anime. She's very cute, and I like how helpful she is, and how she started being like this socially awkward character, and she still is throughout the anime, but she's the one out of all the characters who becomes like the class rep and brings everyone together and is able to connect with everyone and makes them all friends again. And she becomes so important to these people and to that particular group that her death is what brings them over the edge of insanity. So I just feel strongly about Chiaki. She's cute. I like her. She's cool. Next up, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Gundam Tanaka. Just straight up there. Gundam is probably my absolute favorite character in the entirety of Danganronpa. Not just the second game. All the games, all the anime, everything. I took one look at Gundam and was like, I love him. First off, he has a fantastic character design. I'm just into that. The color palette is fantastic. I'm into like black, red. That's a cool color combo with the long scarf. The long scarf looks fantastic. His hair is a bit weird, but goes with the character. And you think, what the hell is he? Some ultimate magician kind of guy, super sinister? And it turns out, no, he's really into animals. I'm like, I'm really into animals. And I love your badass character design. And then it turns out he's got some cool magic shtick going on, which makes him sound silly and super badass at the same time. And I was really, really into that, because he's kind of dark and edgy, but not really, but he sells it so well. Also, Gundam has the best voice, and having a cool voice helps a lot with me liking a character. I'm just a huge fan of like deep voices, which is something you will realize again once we get to the third game. So yeah, just as soon as I saw Gundam and then heard his voice, I'm sold. I'm sold on this man. I'm so sold on this character already. And I just love this concept of him being like, I'm the master of the underworld, fear me. And then he's like, hamsters. I just love that because you think it clashes, but it doesn't. And he's so sweet with the animals he cares for, and he even like occasionally teaches you about stuff. And the free time events with him are so sweet. Like how you can tell that he had a hard time growing up. That he's always been sort of this fish out of water kind of kid who had a hard time fitting in. And was probably also bullied growing up, but that he's created this sort of facade and this character for himself to become stronger and to appear stronger to the outside world, but that he still has a hard time admitting that he has intimacy issues, that he isn't sure about getting close to people because he doesn't really know what that feels like. And then this whole final free time event with Gundam when you're allowed to touch him and you're allowed to shake his hand is so blimmin' emotional, and I just connected with Gundam on an emotional basis, on a personal basis. I love him, and I know a lot of people maybe don't take him as seriously as some of the other characters, but I just love him so much. And then the fourth chapter broke me. That was the first time Danganronpa broke me with the funhouse, and then you find out that Gundam did it. It broke me. It broke my heart, and that was the first time I cried during these games. I got emotional before during the first game, some of the other stuff, but this was legit the first time I like hardcore cried. Because Gundam's execution, with him saving his hamsters and trusting them to Sonya, and then you see his face like in heaven basically, and his hamsters looking up. It just, oh my god, it breaks me every time. I'm close to, I'm currently, like I said, I'm currently playing through the second game with a friend, and we're starting the fourth chapter now. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. I have no idea, because I care so much about this boy. He's so precious to me. And I just love him so much. I could gush for I don't know how many hours telling you how much I love him. But that's all the time we have for now. Next up is Soda. Soda is a weird case. Because before I started replaying the second game, I thought, I like him, he's cool. Bit of a ridiculous and fun character, but he's cool. But then now, replaying the game, I realized, wow, he's a lot weirder than I thought he was. Especially like in the creepy, stalker, sexual assault kind of way. And I don't, like, he makes so many weird sexual comments. It's uncomfortable. Like, people give characters like Hifumi and Teru flag for that, but with him it's like a lot more casual, which kind of makes it weirder and more creepy because he doesn't really seem to realize that he is being a creep. And I think that's weird. So, I don't know. I don't hate him, but I also don't love him. I think it's good that he survives until the end of the game. We need those kinds of characters. He's got some good moments, but he's one of those characters who doesn't really grow as much as some of the others do. I like his talent and how he uses it throughout the game, but I'm not sure if I like him or if I feel neutral about him. So, I don't know. I don't dislike him, but I don't love him. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put him in the no strong feelings either way, because my feelings about him have changed. I liked him the first time around. I dislike him a bit more now the second time around playing the game. So I guess he's gonna go into the neutral category. Next up we got the ultimate imposter. So with him I'm talking about him like in the game, but also what he does in the anime. And it's kind of hard to talk about him because, you know, he's an imposter. He mostly acts as the other characters. I like him what he does as Byakuya in the second game. It kind of really scared me the first time I played the second game and Byakuya died, and I was like, great, You still managed to kill off my favorite character in the second game. But luckily it turned out that it wasn't the real Byakuya. I feel like I can't really say too much about him. I don't hate him, but he does some good stuff, but it's kind of hard to have like a proper opinion on him because he mostly acts like other people. But he tries to be helpful. Towards the class, with the class. So I don't know. I'm gonna put him in the neutral category. Mikan. Now, Mikan is difficult because she is annoying. I just have to listen to her voice and I think, oh my god, my eardrums. But I'm kind of coming around to liking her a bit more than I initially did because she is quite helpful as a character. And I know she's also like sort of the fan service character, which isn't necessarily her fault, it's just the writers being not very nice with her. And she does have some good moments, like she's very helpful as the ultimate nurse, especially like throughout the third chapter when she tries to help everyone not dying from the despair disease. She works so hard and then she herself becomes infected and then becomes a murderer. I don't know. I kind of want to put her in the I like her category. But then again, I'm not sure if I like her more than these people. Do I? I don't know. Do I like her as much as Toko and Akane and Aoi? I don't think I like her as much, so I'm gonna put her here for now, but as a note, I think she could go up into the I like him category if you gave me a bit more time. Maybe. And here we got Hyoko Saionji. Hyoko, shut up. I just don't like Hyoko. I know she gets a bit of character development in the third chapter, but it's just not enough, and then she dies, and her whole character arc gets the chop, and I just can't with her. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, shut up, you're a mean person, a bully, and every time you say something, it's a huge insult to everyone, especially Mikan, and I just hate that. It's just trash talk 24/7, and I'm just not on board with that. I hate it. I just hate like that kind of foul language, which is also an argument that's going to come back with one of the other characters later on. And I just want her to like shut her mouth every time she was on screen, because she was never helpful, she never did anything useful throughout the investigation. All she did was being an absolute bitch to everyone, except for Mahiru. And Mahiru is just... Mahiru is Mahiru. She's just a very... She's basic. That's the problem. She's basic. But again, it's not her fault. That's the writers not being very good with the character. I don't dislike... I don't think I dislike Mahiru. Do I? I don't know. I think I've got to put her here because I don't like her as much as these guys. So I'm sorry, I gotta put her here. It's mostly because she's got nothing going for herself. There's just absolutely nothing. She's just plain boring. Except for that she has kind of a good friendship with Hyoko, and that she doesn't like men, and that's it. And the game just doesn't do anything with her until she dies, and it's... I just got nothing... I just have no feelings for Mahiru whatsoever. Which is why I don't really like her that much, because she's just not very interesting, and I didn't care about her when she died. So, sorry. Teru Teru. My boy Teru Teru is an excellent example for me liking a character purely based on the fact that they have an amazing voice. So, I definitely like Teru Teru. I don't know, he's a creepy dude. He's got a lot of sexual talk going on, which is something I don't personally enjoy very much, especially also as an asexual guy. But with Teru Teru, there's sort of an honesty to that, unlike like Soda, who doesn't seem to realize that he's being a weirdo and being a bit of a sexual creep. Teru knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what kinds of comedy he's making, and he's into it. He's a very sensual person. Also, someone tell me that Teru is not totally bisexual. Like, he has that whole moment in, I don't know if it's the game and or the anime, where he gets like tied up, and then it turns out he thinks it's a woman. He's like, oh, I'm totally into that, but then it turns out it's Nekomaru, and he's like, oh, it's a guy. I don't mind. And I'm like, aha, there we go. And he's fun. I think he's fun to be around. I know his character design is also a bit different from some of the other guys, but I don't know, that never put me off. His hair is amazing, by the way. He turns out to be our first killer, which is very unfortunate, and especially if he like start hearing about his mom and the restaurant, and he was just trying to help because Nagito was being a weirdo, as always. I like Teru a lot. I like Teru a lot. The thing is, do I just like him? Or do I have a lot of feelings about Teru? You know what, just for the heck of it, and because a lot of people shit on my boy, I'm gonna put him here. Just for the heck of it. Because a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's cool. He's got a very nice, smooth, cool voice going on that I like a lot. Amazing haircut, cool talent, he tries to be helpful, he's very like positive and tries to entertain everyone. Yes, he's creepy, but he's honest about it. He's honest about it. Everyone knows he's a creep. And I don't know. I'm weirdly enough, I'm okay with that. I don't know why. Next up is Nekomaru. Nekomaru is again one of those characters who doesn't have a whole lot of development. He's very one note. He's very loud. He's got a cool friendship with Akane, which I think is cute. And then he comes back as a robot, which is fucking amazing. And then he has this whole battle to the death with Gundam. And just but I don't have any strong feelings for Nekomaru. He's just that kind of character who's not my cup of tea. But I don't dislike him. I think he's got some cool moments going on, like he tries to save Akane, and I like his friendship with her, and he's very supportive. And I like that he comes back as a robot. So I'm gonna say no strong feelings. I was sad when he died, but I didn't mind too much. I didn't hate him, but he's maybe the kind of character who's just not really my cup of tea. So, no strong feeling. Sonya. Sonya's cute. And a lot of people give Sonya flack, I think, for not being a very useful character and that she isn't worthy of being a survivor or whatever, but I don't know. I like Sonya. She's cool. Even though in hindsight I'm kind of realizing that she is she's meant to be a European kind of character, right? She's a European coded character who teaches the Japanese people all about like anime and Japanese culture stuff, which is super weird, but also kind of funny, I think. That she knows more than all of these other people do, especially about like weird like dramas and sitcoms and serial killers and anime. Which is weird, but I kind of like that she's in there, especially since, you know, she's a princess. You don't expect her to be into that kind of stuff, especially like serial killer stuff, which is actually kind of becomes useful in the second case. So I like Sonya. I like her. She's got a lot going for herself, I think. She's not she doesn't have a lot of like character development going on, but I think she's got enough cool moments. And I think she's useful enough. I don't really get like some of the hate that goes against Sonya as a character. I think she's cool, she's useful, she's one of those kinds of characters where I think you look at her and you think you know what kind of character she's going to be, but then she's not really that. And I like that. And I like her this sort of relationship, friendship thing she has like between Gundam and Soda, which is kind of a weird little triangle going on. I like the friendship between Gundam and Sonya, but I don't ship it. I know a lot of people ship it, it's a popular ship, and I totally get that, but no, I don't. I like the friendship between Gundam and Sonya, but I don't ship them in a romantic way. Because, I don't know, to me that doesn't really work. I always imagine Gundam is maybe somewhere on the Arrow Ace spectrum, so I don't know. I get why it's a popular ship though, I get that. Next up we got Peko. Peko is cool. Again, she's got that whole stoic, cool, intelligent vibe going on that I like with a lot of the other characters. And her story is very much tied to Fuyuhiko. But I think I don't think I like her as much as I like Fuyuhiko, but I'm gonna put her in the I like her category. She's got a cool character design. Again, I'm a fan of the whole stoic, cool, calculating character shtick. Ultimate Swordswoman is just a badass fucking talent. I like her whole story with Fuyuhiko, how she's getting to him that they've grown up, and how she always thought that she's just a tool to him, but actually both of them care so deeply for one another, and even in a romantic way. Those two I kind of ship. Those two would be a good couple. So Peko, cool. I like her a lot. Especially what's going on with her in the second half. That was sad when she died. But I think I feel more about her because of her relationship to Fuyuhiko and how she works for Fuyuhiko than what actually she just herself as a character does and is. But she's got some good moments. I like her, but no strong feelings. And last but not least, from the second game, we got Ibuki. Ibuki is cool. I like Ibuki. Ibuki is very hyper. She's just always game for everything. She's, as my friend put it, the ADHD character. And I like it. Normally, I'm not really into like loud, hype characters. But I don't know. Ibuki is cool. She's got some good energy going. She's always very positive, and she's kind of cute. She can maybe be a tad annoying at times. I would have liked to see what happens to her, like if she hadn't died. I don't know if she would have gotten much character development. That's sort of a problem. She doesn't get a whole lot of like character development, and not a whole lot is done with her as a person. But for what she does in the game, I like her a lot. She has some good character moments and some good friendships with most of the other characters. I like her talent. I actually really like the song she plays for the game. I know the people in the game don't like it, but I was really into it. So Ibuki is cool. I was sad when she died. But I don't have strong feelings about her, but she's good. I like her. Okay, we're moving on to Ultra Despair Girls, which is a game I've only finished playing for the first time a couple of months ago, so everything is still sort of fresh. Not with the names though, which is why I have to look up some of the names, like the kids, which I can't always remember, but we're gonna be fine, right? As always, we start off with the Monokuma-esque characters. First off, we got Kurokuma. Is it called Kurokuma? I think it's called Kurokuma. Something like that. He's the all-black Monokuma. I like his voice. He's got this kind of cool guy voice going on, but he's also annoying. He doesn't contribute a whole lot to the story. So, I'm sorry. I like his design, his voice he's got going on, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. He just doesn't have much else going on for himself. Which brings us to Shirokuma, the all-white Monokuma, the good Monokuma, who is cute and adorable and kind of annoying, because I'm not a fan of the whole happy-go-lucky, super positive characters. Not always. It depends very much on how they're written. I don't know. It's okay. Shirokuma is okay, but I don't know. I don't have strong feelings. I wouldn't have. If Shirokuma died, I wouldn't have been sad about it. If like whatever happens with him in the game, I was like, okay, that's happening. Sure. And now we come to our next protagonist. It's Komaru Naegi. She is Makoto's sister. She's difficult for me because I really didn't like her throughout the first half of the game. She was like, I'm just a normal girl and I can't do this. I'm so bad at everything. I don't know how I would survive, and whiny. Also, her relationship with Toko was not the best, I think. Especially throughout the first half of the game, I was like, how are these two becoming best friends by the end of this? I just didn't get it because they constantly kind of insulted one another or weren't supportive of one another. I just didn't get it. I kind of warmed up to her and the friendship a bit more as the game went on. And by the end of the game, I liked Kumaru. I liked her, but if we go in like in terms of protagonists for the Danganronpa games, she's the weakest one. I like her nevertheless. I like her. So I'm gonna put her in the I like her. I like her. She's okay. She's okay. Okay, and now we come to the kids whose names I don't really remember, so I have to look them up. Okay, the Warriors of Hope. First one is Masaru Daimon, who was annoying, so I'm gonna put him in the I just don't like him that much. I liked him more when we found out what his whole deal was with his dad. But he's just like a show off and boasting the entire time. I just wasn't into it. Just not my cup of tea. And next up we have Nagisa, who was actually my favorite of the Warriors of Hope, I think. Again, you see that I've got a thing going for like smart and more like calm and collected kind of characters. So he's my favorite from the Warriors of Hope. Also, like, his background story messed up with like his parents. So he's gonna go into the I like him category. He's cool. Next up we have my least favorite Warrior of Hope, Jotaro, and he was just weird. I was so uncomfortable with him every time he appeared. And I like creepy characters. I like people talking creepy shit. But he just made me so uncomfortable. And it was kind of predictable that his face was going to be like the face of an angel or something like that. That was more or less predictable. But yeah, he just made me so uncomfortable. No. Next up is, what's her name? Kotaka Utsugi. She's okay. Her background story is definitely fucked up. That's some messed up shit she went through when she tells you about that, which makes it even all the more weird when she builds like an apparatus that sexually assaults the main protagonist. And it's weird. I'm gonna put it in the no strong feelings. I didn't hate her. I didn't love her. Like, her background story and everything definitely made her more interesting to me. And her relationship with to the other Warriors of Hope, and especially to like Monica, was interesting, but nah, I don't know. No strong feelings for her. Which brings us to Monica. Monica is one messed up swastika-eyed lady. Seriously though, why swastika eyes? It's super weird and uncomfortable. But she's again messed up. But I think that works as a antagonist, villainous kind of character, especially if you consider that she's just a kid. And she manipulates the heck out of these kids, using like trigger words, sexually assaulting them. And remember, these are kids. They're fucking kids. It's so messed up. But that's also kind of what I like about her. I don't have strong feelings for Monica, but I think she's great as like an antagonistic kind of character. So I'm gonna put her in the I like her category. Like, she's sort of, I like to hate her. That's that kind of character. Okay, next up is, that's Chihiro's dad. What's his name? Taichi? I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Chihiro's dad, and he's got to go in the too minor for me to care about you. He literally, he shows up, you save him, he helps you with a minor thing, he dies. That's it. And I was like, well, that was quick. So, I guess he was helpful with the computer stuff, but that's it. Same thing goes for Aoi's brother, whose name is Yuta. He shows up, is like, I'm gonna make a run for it, dies. He's in the game for like not even 10 minutes. So, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. Next up is, oh boy, now we're talking. Now it's gonna get controversial, I'm telling you. Haiji Towa. A lot of people hate Haiji, and I understand why. Believe me, I do. But I want to say that up until that point, until Haiji says that he likes girls as young as young as they can get, up until that point, he was the most interesting character, I thought, in the game, apart from like the main characters. I was really into that, which was maybe also due to the fact that he's voiced by Matt Mercer in the English dub. And who doesn't like Matt Mercer? But then again, that game forced me to listen to Matt Mercer say that he likes girls really, really young. And I'm like, I'm never gonna get that out of my head now that I have heard Matt Mercer say that. So screw you, game. So I think a lot of people like reduce him to only that one line, which I get is a horrible line. It's super creepy and uncomfortable. But I think a lot of people forget like what happens with him throughout the rest of the game. There's like hours of content with Heiji before and after that one line of dialogue. Because I think he's very interesting. He's like the leader of the resistance. He's Monika's brother. He's fucking broken by the end of that game for understandable reasons. And he's so messed up, and I felt bad for him. So, and that's me saying I get why people hate him, and I don't like what he says. I absolutely don't like what he said about young girls. And that's legitimate reason to absolutely hate him regardless of what he's done. I'm just trying to think of how much I liked him up until that point and what else he does. So I'm gonna say I like him. Doesn't mean I say I like what he said about young girls, but like apart from that, what he does in the game I thought was interesting. So there you go. Next up is Hiro's mom, whose name I once again have to look up. Hiroko Hakakure. She's cool. She's a cool lady. She's cool. She's going here. She's like a cool, relaxed lady. Like, you got nothing on her. She's calm. She does her thing. You help her. She helps you. You can really see how she's Hiro's mom. And I like that. She's cool. She's just calm, down to earth, does her thing. I like it. It's good. Next up, we have a character who, I swear to God, I did not know who that's supposed to be. I had to look up. That's Leon's cousin. That's Kanon Nakajima, who's, I don't think appears directly in Autodesk Battlefield, but like in one of the novels you can unlock post-game. I think, if she's in the actual game, someone remind me where, because I don't remember. But yeah, she has to go into the too minor for me to care about you because I don't actually know who you are or what you do apart from being in a novel with Hiro and having a weird crush on your cousin, who is Leon. So, I don't know how I feel about that. So there you go. Okay, so we're moving on to the anime characters. I have rewatched some of the anime episodes before making this video to sort of remind myself of some of these characters. But just as a reminder, it's been a while since I've watched like the entire anime. So first off, we've got Tengen. Is his name Tengen? Kazuo Tengen. He's like the leader, the former director of Hope's Peak High School, but then becomes like the director. And turns out he actually is the organizer of like the last killing game in the anime. I don't know. I don't feel like I have a strong opinion on him. I'm just gonna put him here because he's cool. He is like this calm older man who's smart and tries to be supportive, but then he also organizes a killing game and I don't know, does some very questionable stuff. So he's gonna go into the neutral category. Next up we have one of the characters who's probably way too minor for me to what even is his name? Bandai, I'm sorry, I don't remember you, I don't care about you. I think he's in the first episode and then dies to sort of showcase, okay, this is a real killing game and that's it. So, do with that what you like. Next up is our dear teacher. It's Chisa. what's her last name? Yukizume. Chisa. Chisa is sweet, isn't she? But then that's also kind of her only thing. She's a very capable teacher. And she has this relationship with one of the other guys who's gonna come up next. And she becomes a remnant of despair and fucks everything up. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put her in. And I think I'm gonna put her in here. Because she's got some good stuff going. I like her chemistry with the students, how she tries to motivate them. It's very, very sweet, but there isn't much more to her character, I think. So that's why we're putting her for now. So next up is the guy she actually has a relationship with, I think, Kyosuke. Kyosuke is interesting, I think. Kyosuke is interesting. He basically is one of the good guys, but he functions as an antagonist throughout the anime because he wants to rid the world of despair and would do everything to achieve that. And it's kind of interesting because I think that serves as almost like the same goal as maybe Makoto and some of the others have. But he goes, excuse me, he goes about it completely wrong way. And even kind of has a bit of a break as the anime goes on. And he has a really cool sword. I like guys with swords, so that's good. Also, he has an interesting friendship/relationship with the next guy that's gonna come up. We're gonna talk about in a minute. So Kyosuke, I think, is interesting. He also has a good character development, I think, because he starts out as this very one-note kind of character, but Makoto's actually able to get through to him and change his outlook. So. Because I think he's got more going. He's got more going on than some people maybe give him credit for. I'm gonna put Kyosuke in the I like him category. I think he's interesting. So next up we have, I think, the character I thought was the most interesting one who was introduced in like the anime, Juzo. Juzo is the ultimate boxer and serves as a sort of henchman to Kyosuke. Is also friends with Chisa, and I'm gonna be honest. Juzo, I have a lot of feelings for Juzo. Juzo's got a lot of stuff on his plate. He like just this whole thing with him being in love with Kyosuke, but he just can't admit it, and it's being used against him to blackmail him, and he feels really bad about it because he wants to tell him, but he can't because he's very insecure about himself and his sexuality, and then Junko uses that against him and it breaks him, and because he betrays his best friend, the man he's in love with, and then he gets stabbed by the man he's in love with because he betrayed him, but then Kyosuke also kind of realizes maybe I shouldn't have stabbed you, but then he's too late and Juzo is already dead, and I felt strongly about that, you know? I admit that Juzo is also a bit of a one-note character, yes, but, you know, if you got a cool background story, and into that. I have a lot of feelings about you. If it makes me emotional, I have a lot of feelings for you. So that's why Juzo ends up in the I have a lot of feelings for you category. And no one can argue against that. Okay. Next character whose name I, once again, have to look up because I don't remember anything about the anime character. Seiko Kimura, who turns into a super wild beast, which automatically, I think, personally puts her into the I like her category because she's just badass. And also she gets screwed over, and it's so unfair. And I just like the whole thing she had going on, and my stuff is falling on me. So I like her. She's kind of an underdog, shy kind of character, but then when she has a freak out and becomes fucking badass, it's so cool. It's so good. It's so good. It's just, if you have a cool transformation thing and become super badass out of nowhere, it's good. It's cool. I'm into that shit. So next up we got a couple of minor characters that I'm probably all gonna put into the too minor for me to care about you. We got, I think that's the Kuzuryu sister. I don't care about you. than the bully friend who I don't care about. I mean, I could put them into the shut your mouth category because they are really mean, but they don't really do anything or that much during the anime. So we got what even was his name? Gozo, Great Gozo. Yeah, I'm tempted to put him into the too minor for me to care about you. He isn't the first to die, but he's one of the first characters to die in the anime. He protects Makoto. Cool. But that's it. I don't really know anything about him. Maybe not in this one because he has more than just one appearance. I'm gonna put him in here. I'm gonna put him here, and it's as neutral as it could possibly get. Mitarai is next. Mitarai is weird. I don't know how I feel about him. He's cute. He's shy. I'm into shy characters. As a shy person, I have an automatic affiliation with all other introverted shy characters in everything. But I don't know. Apart from what we get towards like the end of the anime with his Hope video and this anime manipulation brainwashing thing, which isn't really his fault. I don't know. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I literally don't have strong feelings about Mitarai, so he's going here. Who's next? Someone whose name I have to look up again, because we all know I'm bad with names. Koichi Kitakura. He's cool. I like him. I just like his cool guy drunk shtick he's got going on. Also, he saves Kyoko. I know. I just like him. He's calm, collected, kind of a smooth talker. I like his hat. So he gets a place in the I like you category. Next up is Ruruka, and Ruruka can go shut her mouth because she's a fucking bitch. Do I even have to say that much more about her? Not really. She gets that girl involved in some shit, which isn't really her fault, and she killed her boyfriend, and she's just not very nice. So I don't like her very much. And I don't really have that much more to say about her. Then there's her boyfriend. What even is his name? Sonosuke Isayo. I have no idea. He looks cool. I give you that, he looks cool, but he literally doesn't do anything. So I'm tempted to kind of put him in here, but he does have a few appearances. I guess here, I don't hate him as much as his girlfriend, but he isn't that likable either, so I don't know, I literally have no idea what to say about this man. Okay, and last but not least, we got Gekohara, who's literally just a robot with an AI, and the AI is this Bonnie, which I don't like. She's helpful, she does some cool robot stuff at some point. But apart from that, nothing happens with her. No strong feelings. I just have no opinions on the robot girl, really. Okay, with this, we're going into V3, the characters of the third game, and we're starting off once again with all of the Monokuma-esque characters. And I know a lot of people like Monokuma, but they didn't like the Monocups, which is understandable. They certainly overstayed their welcome sometimes, and had some weird incestuous relationship stuff going on, but I don't think I dislike them as much as many others do. I thought they were kind of funny now and then. Also, their musical theme in the third game is one of my favorite tracks in the entire soundtrack, so there you go. So, the first one is, I hope I can remember all these names correctly, Monotaro. Monotaro, what about Monotaro? I have no strong feeling. He was more likable than the other ones, I think, but I don't know. Monodam's cool. I like the robot shtick he's got going. Also, I'm for the underdog and he gets bullied, so he's cool. I'm sorry, Monophony. I don't like you very much. You're kind of annoying. You're too. Her voice is annoying. Her whole shtick. Sorry, just not my cup of tea. Monokid, I actually kind of like because he's got a cool voice and cool attitude, but then he's also a very mean bully. So, also I think the first Monocup to die, so he doesn't get a whole lot of screen time. So, I don't dislike him, so he's gonna go into the no strong feelings. And this one is it Monosuke? Monosuke. I love his voice. I love the New Jersey accent. It's really cool. He's kind of a slick talking, cool kind of guy. I like that. And do I like him as much as Monodam? You know what? Yes, just because he's got a cool voice, and we all know, at least in my case, if you've got a cool voice, I like you. So there you go. So we're on to the protagonists of our game. And first off, we got Kaede. And I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like Kaede that much. She's cool, she's likable enough, but then again, we don't get to spend so much time with her. And I can't name like precise moments, but sometimes that was, I don't know, just things she said or thought while playing the game. I thought, I don't like that. But I think it's cool that we get to play as a girl for the first time in the series. I like her talent of the ultimate pianist. She's got a cool character design. I like her relationship with Shuichi. It's good. I like the twist that she actually turns out to be the killer. I think that's still one of the best twists Danganronpa pulled. So I know I said Komaru is probably the worst protagonist, but I'm sort of tempted to put Kaede into the no strong feelings category simply because we don't get to spend too much time with her. For me to like really, really care about her as a character. It's tough. It's tough. I definitely don't dislike her. I don't hate her. I also don't love her. So, I don't know. I'm gonna put her here for now, but she has potential for the I like him category. Which brings us to Shuichi. Shuichi is an interesting case, because Shuichi definitely had moments where I was really, really into his character development, what he had going on as a person, especially in regards to like his friendships to the people in the class, especially with like Kaede and Kaito and Maki. Like that trio, Kaito, Maki, and Shuichi was fantastic. I was super into that. Occasionally Shuichi had moments where I was like, mate, you're the ultimate detective, get your head in the game, why are you being so silly? He's got some good stuff going on, especially towards the second half of the game, where you start playing as not only Shuichi, but some of the other characters as well in the last class trial, and you see that even Shuichi as the protagonist isn't always the most hopeful of characters. And I like that. I tried to do something a bit different with him. But again, I'm not sure if I have to... I'm tempted to put him here or here. I like him a lot. He's definitely one of the stronger Danganronpa protagonists. But you know what? Yes, I'm gonna put him here. I like him as much as all of these guys, and I think Shuichi is one of the more interesting protagonists, especially also since he's the ultimate detective, which I think is perfect as like a ultimate talent for a main character, for a main protagonist. So it's good. And again, he does a lot of cool character relationship work with some of his classmates, which I was really, really into. Next up, we got my man Korekyo. Korekyo is cool. I took one look at Korekyo's characters and I was like, yep, I'm into that shit. And he had like cool, really smooth talking voice. He's calm, down to earth, kind of a bit creepy, which I like. I'm into creepy guys, into creepy characters, and it turns out he's actually creepy because he's a serial killer with a weird relationship in regards to his sister, even though I kind of called that he was probably a serial killer during that trial. Again, he gets kind of caught up in that one trial, which is the worst, because it's really obvious who did it, and his plan was kind of stupid, but I like Korekyo. He's cool. He's very interesting, I think. Next up, we got Maki, and no question, Maki is best girl. Fact. Just that, I already mentioned that the whole main trio in the third game, Maki, Kaito, Shuichi, is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adore the character dynamic. Again, you can tell I'm into the whole cold, calm, calculating shtick with characters, and she's just perfect. I love that she started being the ultimate child caregiver, and you're like, that's weird, but yeah, cool, why not? And it turns out ultimate assassin. Ultimate assassin is so fucking badass. That's so cool, and I'm so into that. And I love that she's actually one of the more, heroic characters throughout the game, even though she is an assassin, but she also tries to use them. She tries to use her talents to, like, save Kaito and Shuichi and some of the others, and she tries so hard to fight against that, assassin's concept that everyone has, that she's not, like, I mean, she is kind of like this bloodthirsty kind of killer, but she's more than that, and I like that you can see how she learns to open up as a person, especially like her friendship with Kaito, that she's eventually able to not only open up to this man, but actually falls for him, and she did not expect that, and I think that's so sweet. I thought that was so well written. In general, I think the relationships are in the third game are fucking fantastic, the way they're written. So I have a lot of feelings for Maki. I had so many feelings for Maki, and I'm so glad at least one of my favorite characters in the third game survived, because that didn't happen with anyone else. So yeah, Maki roll, best girl. Next up is Angie. Angie, again, is a difficult case, because there were times where I thought, oh my god, shut up about Artura, and then she builds up this whole Charles Manson murder family cult. Not exactly murder family, but you know what I mean. And I was like, oh my god, what's happening? I think Angie would have made for like a really cool antagonist, with like this whole, because she's very charismatic and able to like manipulate people into liking the same things she does. But I don't know. I wasn't upset when she died, especially since it was during the chapter where she had this cult going on, and I was not into that, and I wanted her to shut up about Atua. I'm sorry, I don't hate her, but it's more like that she is not my cup of tea as a character. She definitely has potential, and I can definitely see why so many people like her, but she's just not my cup of tea, so I just don't like her that much. Next up we got Himiko. Again, I don't know how I feel about her. Himiko has one of the better character arcs throughout the game, but by the end of the game, I was admittedly a little bit upset that out of all the characters, she was one of the few who survived, if I'm being honest. I just didn't like her shtick. And she's like, it's magic, and you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm being weird, and I'm not gonna talk to you because I don't like you, and that's my voice, and that's how I talk the entire time. I'm like, oh my god, here we go, yes, I get it, magic is real, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't hate her, I don't love her. She's a difficult case. I like her character arc throughout the game, because she actually does change, but then she's also not too useful throughout like cases and investigations. So I don't know. I'm gonna put her in the no strong feelings either way category, because I didn't hate her, I didn't love her, and I can't really decide where to put her, so neutral category. Another best boy. I already mentioned it. Kaito, the whole dynamic trio in the third game, fantastic, and Kaito is just the heart of that group. Kaito, I did not expect to like Kaito as much as I did by the time he dies. Kaito's execution, Kaito's death, broke me. I cried so much during that trial. Is it the 5th trial? It is the 5th trial. During the 5th trial, where you figure out if it's him or Kokichi, and I was already so emotionally involved with that because I was like, either way, Kaito is dead. Either he's already dead, or he's the murderer, which means he's gonna be executed. Granted, I figured out pretty early on that it was going to be Kaito who's still alive, because it would have been way too obvious that Kaito would have been the one who died, because that would have been way too obvious. But even so, that just broke, because I was like, but Kaito, that means you kill someone and then you're gonna be executed, and it just broke me, man. It just broke me. It's weird because Kaito is that kind of character who is all positive attitude all the time, always supportive, always positive about everything, always the optimist, which is a kind of character type I'm usually not into, because it might be because I'm not a very, I'm not an optimist, I'm not a very positive person myself, but Kaito just had the charisma and the likability, and I was just into that. His relationship with Maki is so cute, how he is immediately like, I don't care if you're an assassin, show me some cool stuff like with the crossbow, tell me about yourself. And he's just like able to get through that shell because that's just what he does. And his friendship with Shuichi, I ship that, by the way. I mean, I ship the whole trio. Please let people ship polyamorous relationships. I'm into like these three being a couple. But like especially the friendship between Kaito and Shuichi is so cute. It's so adorable, and it's what I think keeps Shuichi going throughout the game. And it's very understandable that both Shuichi and Maki, once they figure out that Kaito is dead, they're just all in trouble. It just breaks them, and I felt that because the game really makes sure that you're into the friendship with Kaito. And I know some people didn't like him very much. And maybe, I guess I can kind of see that because he's all about like, hope, do your best, I'm the cool, nice dude who keeps everyone going, and with the speeches and everything, and sometimes I could see like, yeah, maybe Kaito, you want to shut up now, or Kaito, what you're saying is not correct at all, or you're being a bit too naive. But then again, it's kind of what I liked about him. And in the end, I couldn't help but just like love Kaito so much. Especially since I didn't expect him to like him as much as I did when I started the game. And the game, like the third game, just did fantastic emotional work with the characters. I think Kaito is a perfect example of that. So, Kaito, best boy. Next up is Kirumi. Kirumi is cool. Again, Kirumi is one of those characters where I take one look at them, I'm like, I'm into that character. Cool character design, cool voice. Again, calm, collected, very level-headed. I like that. Her talent, ultimate maid, fantastic. I'm into that. She's got this whole Victorian Edwardian vibe going on. I'm absolutely into that. And I just liked engaging with her as a character, especially also throughout the free time events. Even though she's responsible for the death of a character I am going to come back to. But I like her. She's cool. I don't like people just reducing her to, oh, she's like the mom of the group, because that's not who she is. She likes helping, but you know, that's her job. She's not their mom. That's not what she does. and she's got a lot more going for herself than just being the maid. And I don't know, I just got good vibes from her. I like her. Also, Prime Minister of fucking Japan, apparently, which was super weird, I think, to find that out. And I was like, okay, that's a thing that's happening. Sure, that's something that's going on. So I'm not sure if I want to put her here or here. I'm gonna put Kirumi into the I have a lot of feelings for category. She's cool because I think I like her more than most of the characters who are in this category. Yeah, so yeah, I have a lot of feelings for Kirumi. She's cool. Ha! We've got another hot take incoming, my friends, with Kukichi. I fucking loathe Kukichi. He is everything I hated about Nagito, but 10 times worse. He was so annoying. He was being such a troll, such a wanker throughout the majority of the game that I was like, why the fuck are you still here? I hate you. Shut your mouth. I don't want to see you ever again. He's, oh my god. He just annoyed the hell of me. Like, Nagito already annoyed me a whole lot because he was always gonna about, oh, hope and stepping stone for hope, blah blah blah. But Kukichi's just a troll. He's just a bloody troll. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. He just lied the entire time, which made everything he said, nothing was ever genuine. Even if he was trying to be emotional, I didn't know if he was being serious. Because even he was like, I'm crying, I'm so sad. And then like 1 minute later, he's like, just a joke. Or was it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, Kukichi. I don't know, because you keep lying throughout the entire game, so I don't know which part of your character I'm supposed to care about, because everything is apparently a lie or not. I don't know. I don't know. Because I feel like he never expresses any genuine kind of emotion or opinion where I could with definitively say, yes, this is what he was actually on about, and I 100% understood what he was doing. Or I was into that. No. Never. And there were so many moments throughout the trials or the investigations where he was just fucking with you. Where he was like, he like already knew that and refused to tell you or just mess with you for the heck of it. Because he was like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna lie my way through this trial. I'm gonna tell you some bullshit. Even though I know it's not true, but I want to mess with you. Haha, fun, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my god. Shut up. And yes, I get it. At the end of the game, it kind of turns out that he wanted to maybe stop the killing game. But guess what? Making yourself the most despicable human being in the game is not a great plan. It's just not. Making everyone, like, his plan basically is to become the mastermind and that is supposed to help everyone stop the killing game, even though he actively initiates parts of the killing game. He is responsible for, I think, several deaths in the third game. Definitely at least one. That whole thing with Gonta fucking messed up. And you know what? No, you can't change my opinion on that. Kukichi knowingly made Gonta a murderer. He knowingly did that. And then he's just like, you know what, I'm bored. Gonta did it. And I'm like, well, thank you, Kukichi. Fuck off. And again, you could be like, but then he really he expressed like true sadness about Gonta dying. I'm like, I don't know, because nothing this man ever does is genuine. Because he's like, I lied, or he tells us many times throughout the game that he's a liar, which makes you question literally everything he does. His plan is fucking bullshit, and I was so glad when it turned out that he was dead. Because I was like, good, I don't have to listen to this man ever again. I think he's my, and I'm gonna put this out there, my most hated character in the Danganronpa series. Because I wanted him to drop dead every time he was on screen. And I know I shit a lot on his character, because I love to hate. I love to hate. I get why people like him, believe me, I do. But similar with Nagito, it's like I don't get why so many people like him so much. And I don't know, he's just this bratty liar. I'm not into like this bratty kind of stereotype anyway, and he just trolls you the entire time. That I was just done with him. I just ugh. Oh, next up, another character who's I'm sorry, Miyu. I just don't like the language. I'm sorry. I'm not into characters talking this kind of like dirty, sweary language all the time. I'm just not into it. I'm very uncomfortable with that kind of language. And she just kept doing it all the time. She was just so overtly sexual with her language and what she did. And it just annoyed the hell out of me. I liked her talent, her ultimate talent being like an inventor and building things. That was cool, and it even was useful sometimes. But apart from that, nothing interesting happened with her. She had no character development, and if you hate that one shtick she's got going on with the super sexual, sweary language, and you hate that, then that doesn't make me like the character. I'm sorry. And again, a lot of people I think like Miyu. And I like her character design, it's cool, I like her talent, she's got some good moments, but for the most part, I just can't get over the whole sexual, sweary language thing. It makes me uncomfortable, I'm not into it, and I wanted her to shut up. Next up, we got Kibo. Kibo is, I think he's a fan favorite for a lot of people. And he is sweet, he is a sweet boy, he's a sweet cyborg boy. But that's all he is. If you like up until the last few minutes of the game, when it turns out that he's like the protagonist for the audience, I had no feelings for this robot man whatsoever. He kind of got annoying a bit at times with "you're being robophobic." Or like this whole shtick with being, I'm a cyborg, I'm a robot, I don't do this, I don't do that, stop saying stuff about robots. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Can you please actively contribute something to whatever it is we're doing, except for gadgets? No? Okay. It was cool that he lasered the entire school and then died. That was badass. Didn't make me sad about him dying, because I didn't really care. Because he didn't really had a whole lot of stuff going on. So, I don't hate him, I don't love him, but I'm sorry, I have to put him into the I just don't like him that much category. Because he's just plain boring, and he just had nothing going on except for the I'm a robot thing. So, sorry. Gonta. Gonta's up next. Gonta is, and I want to come back to that type of character, is a bit like Yasuhiro. Lovable idiot. But Gonta is too much of an idiot, and too naive, and too stupid. I'm sorry, he's just too stupid, and at a certain point this whole third person, I don't know stuff got a bit annoying. And I didn't care that much for him. I'm not into the bug thing. His background story is kind of interesting, actually, if you think about how he was raised and everything. That's kind of cool. But that's it. I'm just not. He's just this. He has this character type I'm not into. Dumb. He was just too dumb. He was too dumb, and I was not into it. He never did anything useful. He never contributed anything useful during the discussions, and he ends up being a killer, which was something I saw coming, because of course he's that kind of character who you never thought would become a killer, but then of course he becomes a killer because Danganronpa. but I didn't care that much for him. I kind of get why people like him, because he's very similar to like Hero, as in being a lovable idiot, but he was just not my cup of tea, so I'm sorry, I just didn't like him that much. Next up, another fan favorite, I think, Rontaro, who was unfortunate enough to be the first character to die in the third game, even though he was probably one of the most interesting characters. And I don't know what the writers thought when they wrote that, because you don't know about his talent, and he just dies early on. And I get why a lot of people like him. Also, his character design is cool. He's got a cool voice, I think. His talent's interesting once you actually find out about it. But I think I'm gonna put him here, because I don't spend too much time with him unless you like did the free time events. So I didn't really have that much time to like get to know him properly. What you do get to see of him throughout like the main game is cool. He's likable, but nothing real like that made me feel strongly about him. So I feel like I can't really say that much more about Rontaro. So he's going here. Ryoma. Finally, we got our final best boy. I felt so much for Ryoma. Ryoma is probably the most relatable character in the Danganronpa series. I just connected with him immediately. First off, amazing voice. It's the same guy who voiced Gundam, so I was like into that deep voice. I like it. Also because it stands in complete contrast to Ryoma's appearance. Like look at this adorable, ridiculous man, and then he like talks like this about tennis, and you think, that's badass. I was just really into that, this whole series attitude, and then he tells you about that he killed the fucking mafia with the tennis ball because they killed his family and his girlfriend. You're like, oh my god, that's so cool. That's just so cool. That I was just way too much into that. And like how he talks about how much he cares about his family and his girlfriend, and then but he's like afraid of making friends, and people shouldn't get too close to him because he considers himself to be dangerous, or he isn't good company to keep. And that he's actually on like death row, and if he ever gets out of school he's gonna die because he killed a bunch of people, he killed the mafia. And I just connected with that. So much. And then in the second chapter you get to spend some time with him, and then you get like these motive video thingies about who cares the most about you in the outside world, and it turns out there's no one in the outside world for Ryoma. Nothing. No one. Not his cat. No one. And that shit broke me. That shit fucking broke me on an emotional level, on a personal level. It just hit me right in the feels. It was like a punch to the gut when that screen came on, and it was like, there's no one in your life who cares about you, or something like that. I was like, oh my god, that's the most fucked up, depressing shit ever. And I'm still so mad about that Ryoma died without ever getting any greater character development that made him move on from this kind of thinking, from this kind of attitude that he thought he was not worth keeping alive, that it wasn't worth living, it wasn't worth getting close to anyone, and then he just dies, knowing that there's no one who cares about him. And I wished he would have stayed alive for at least a little bit, maybe not until the end, but maybe just like a little bit longer, so that he has a bit of character development and sees that his classmates care about him, and he can open up to Shuichi or some of the other classmates, and there are people who care about him, and then he can die a little more happily. And I know Danganronpa is dark, and sometimes this is just how things turn out, but oh, Ryoma, he's just... I just connected with him on an emotional, spiritual level. Like, he's the character I'm probably the closest to in regards to like a personal level. So I'm just, all over Ryoma as a character, and I have so many feelings for him. And he was one of the characters who definitely, like, background story-wise, when you interact with him, just broke me, and I was really into his character. So there you go. He's the best boy. Next up is Tenko. Tenko she's a very dynamic young lady who definitely has a thing for Himiko. She's cute. And she's very protective of her, which I also thought was cute. But I feel like she was also a bit more of a one-note character. She's like, I don't like men, I'm protective of Himiko, and I'm into martial arts. And that's it. She had a bit more of like character development in the chapter where she died, in order to be like, okay, I don't understand why Himiko is being into the cult, but I'm trying to be supportive, and I'm trying to like take part in the seance in order to show that I'm supportive, but then she turns up dead. So she didn't annoy me, but I didn't have strong feelings for her either, so she's going into the no strong feelings either way category. And last, but by no means least, Tsumugi. Oh, Tsumugi, what do we do with you? I think Tsumugi is a very controversial character. She turns out to be our mastermind. She reveals that everything we've watched is fiction, including the first 2 games. She's cosplaying as some of the other characters. She's got kind of an annoying voice, but I do like her talent of being the ultimate cosplayer. So, I'm gonna be completely honest here and tell you I like Tsumugi. Tsumugi is good. She's by no means as bad as so many people make her out to be. She's kind of annoying, yes, and she's not always very helpful or ever helpful throughout the game. But maybe I just like her as a character. Maybe I just think she's cool, and I like her character design, and I like her being the ultimate cosplayer because I'm a cosplayer, so I'm into that. And I thought it was cool when she turns out to be the mastermind. I didn't see that coming. And we could have an entire discussion about what I thought about her revealing that everything else is fiction. If you would like me to talk about that in another video, you can leave me a comment. But maybe a lot of people hate her because she reveals that ending. But, you know, I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I like Tsumugi. Bit annoying. That voice is definitely very, very, very high. But I think she's overhated. Which might be due to the ending she helps to reveal. And I get that she's not the most useful character, but I think I just like her on a personal basis. On a personal basis, I'm just into her character. So here we are. This is the full ranking. I bet there were some surprises in there, but also some very obvious candidates. Like I think Kyoko is pretty obvious. Maybe also Chiaki and Byakuya. I'm definitely gonna get some flag for putting both Nagito and Kokichi in the worst tier. I'm definitely gonna get some flag for that. I can see that one coming. Definitely. But I don't know. I like most of these characters. I think most of these characters are great. Like, even the ones who are like in the lower tiers, I still like feel I don't hate them. And even the ones I'm like, shut your mouth, I love to hate these characters. Because what's great about Danganronpa is that they make you feel strongly about these characters, whether you love them or hate them. Because if you love them, you really love them. You're into these characters, they're your world. But if you hate them, you love to hate them. And sometimes it's just great to dislike a character. And in a way, I mean, for example, Kokichi is meant to be like the antagonistic sort of character. So in a way, you're supposed to dislike him to a certain degree. And that worked perfectly, if you ask me. So yeah, this is my ranking. You can definitely tell me what you think of my personal ranking down in the comments below. Tell me if you agree with some of my choices, if you disagree with some of my choices, who are some of your favorite characters in the Danganronpa series, or if you would like me to talk some more about Danganronpa, you can put some questions or whatever in the comments below. Maybe I'll make another video. Until then, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. And I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye.